Hi everyone. So very occasionally as a reader, if you're a reader, let me know if this happens to you. I'm sure it does. I hope we talk about it all the time. Very occasionally as a reader, I have those energies happen where it feels like something's trying to prevent a particular message coming through. Now, this message is kind of strange anyway in the way that it manifested for me, because it didn't manifest in a meditation space or even here on camera like my messages usually do. This message manifested before I went to sleep last night and then really culminated in my dreams. So this is a little bit of an interesting one, and there seems to be something that's really trying to prevent me from being able to record this, whether it's from interruptions or it's from all of a sudden my mind just going blank so that I can't even remember what I was saying, to like the power having gone off briefly. So that tells me that this message is in fact very important, and I knew that it was the way that it came through for me, because what happened for me was a dream interruption. Now, I very rarely have messages come through in my sleep states for other people. This is probably only the third or fourth time that this has ever happened in my life. So we're going to get right into this. I am going to explain how this message came out, because I feel that that process and certain things within it are actually important for somebody. The other day I did a reading, and in the reading I mentioned the Mystical, Marvelous, Magical World of Dreams book. I'm totally butchering it. This book right here. And I had it on my desk because I had to enter the information for this book into the description box. Before sleep, I put out 2 decks, and you guys know I never remember the names of my decks. So I don't know why they chose to speak to me this way. But one was the Dream Ritual Oracle, maybe so that I would see it in the morning and I would know it's important. And this is the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, right? And I put these 2 out on my desk, and I just grabbed the Rider-Waite today. So these were the only 3 things that were on my desk when I sat down this morning, and that made me realize, wow, that was like my confirmation, because last night I became lucid in a dream, and in my lucidity, all my characters, everything faded away, and all of a sudden there was like a spirit interruption, and it was just this big group of beings that came forward, and I recognized them as guides, right? So it's like the guide collective. I keep tapping into the guide collective for these messages recently, and they brought me someplace. They brought me to the Oracle Temple complex at Siwa in Libya. I didn't recognize it at first. The reason why I wound up recognizing it is because a particular structure that's there with this little curved wall. I recognized that from when I used to study the temple complexes and the sanctuaries and the caves that ancient oracles used to operate out of. So if you're unfamiliar with the Oracle Temple at Siwa, and this is the part that I feel is particularly important for somebody, this was a temple that was devoted to the Egyptian god Amun, and they had an oracle there. So, okay, let's see. This message seems to be for, it's not going to be for a lot of people. It seems to be for a small collective of people who have the energy of the ancient oracle that is currently with them in this incarnation. And if you're still questioning it, because I'm kind of getting that there's a couple people in this collective who need this message, who actually really need this message. Your guides are really adamant about this. You're like on the fence, like, oh, but you know, am I being egotistical? Is that really what's going on here? Here's how you know. This is very specifically what they laid out for me and what I wrote down when I came to. You will know if this message is for you, if you have this ancient oracle thing happening within you, if you've always had a fascination with oracles, divination, channelers, if you've had moments in your life where through mind-altered states you've received messages, or if you receive messages or see things in liminal spaces, right? I'm not talking about just hypnagogic visions, but where you actually see things that may happen later, or you see people who you meet later, right? You have at times even known things that were going to happen before they happened, or known things about people and what's going on with them that maybe you feel that you shouldn't have known, going beyond empathy, right? Which is feeling a person's feelings. It's like feeling empathy at a long distance, for example, and prophesying the future at times. So if you have this grouping of abilities, you know, maybe not just one of them, but like several of those, then this message may be for you, and you may just want to check it out and hear what it has to say without expectation being placed on it, right? Meaning what I'm about to say, without taking that expectation out into your 3D, right? Just sit with some discernment and see if this message is for you. Okay, so I'm being told to give the symbols now as well. So remember, the symbols are here to tell certain people to pay extra attention. They're not for everybody. but even if the symbols don't resonate for you, this can still be your message. So they showed me Russian nesting dolls. They showed me ceramic Tupperware that was like Russian nesting dolls, where one fit inside of the other, and they were definitely holiday themed. They showed me a small, like tan colored dog that had some sort of like red hood or red jacket on it. A horse with a lightning bolt. I don't know what that means. Just a horse and a lightning bolt. 3 mountain symbol. Not the Norse one. Okay, I just heard don't say that, so it might be the Norse one. But there's something very special about the symbol for the person that this symbol is supposed to resonate for. Like someone gave it to you, or yeah, there's something going on there. There's an eye tattoo on the inside of the left wrist for somebody, and then for another person there's the word amor. Is it amor? Yeah, it's amor, tattooed on their neck. And then somebody else has blonde braids that they've recently gotten taken out and they've put extensions in. How fun. And then someone whose light bulb has burned out since they started this video. So let's see. Okay. So the message here that's coming through for this is that you recently received a sign. And this sign seems to be about a particular step along this ancient oracle awakening or path that you're currently on, or that your life is designed to be on in this life. This is something that how it manifests for us and what we actually do with it is going to be up to us. Also up to certain things that take place within our universe in accordance to the vibration that we're putting out. This reading is getting a little deep, so I will say that this reading is getting a little deep. There's a lot of energy dynamics that are coming in right now as I'm trying to tap back into this energy. One of the things that this collective of guides is asking for a person to focus on is not so much how it's going to look in the future, because you don't actually know the future, right? Things rarely turn out the way that we envision them to be in the future, even if you are great at manifesting. What they really want you to focus on is what you're passionate about, what aspect of this path would make you insanely happy, right? And to focus on that energy, focus on that passion, focus on that high vibration that reaches deep inside of your soul. Focus on that energy. That's what it looks like. Right? That's what the end goal looks like, not the visuals, not the 3D, complications, because that's going to change, right? That's not how it's going to be. And even what you desire for that is going to change as you grow and as you get better and as you evolve. So that's why we focus on that energy. If you keep focused on that energy, you will navigate yourself to that outcome. That's for somebody out there. So there seems to be this sign, and this sign is okay, so there's this message then is a confirmation of this sign. Okay, whatever this sign is, it's about a step, not an end goal. It's about a step in the process, not an end goal. And the step seems to be a step towards learning some sort of knowledge or experience that is going to benefit this path. Okay, and okay, so then the advice that they're giving me then is release your expectations of the outcome of this step and allow it to flow as it will. Okay, so let's get some cards. There is some sort of transformation that is taking place, and this step for some of you is going to require you to put an end. Here we have the Death card. It's going to require you to put an end, and I'm being drawn to the Crown here, to some sort of ego conundrum, right? So like, for example, nobody will accept me, I'll lose all my friends, or, people won't take me seriously, things like that. There's something that we're projecting onto our future without knowing the future, despite the ability to prophesy, right? Without knowing the future, we're projecting something onto it that we will inevitably cause that future to occur, right? Because we might step into the space without having taken this step, meaning we haven't gained the knowledge. Okay, so I'm just going to say it. One of the things that's coming through with all that information that I'm trying to untangle right now, because so much is coming out at me, is that somebody here needs to understand that once you step to the plate, right, once you gain this knowledge and you do all the things that you need to do and you laid the appropriate groundwork, part of that appropriate groundwork becomes really understanding yourself, really trusting your abilities, really understanding your abilities. When you trust yourself and you understand yourself and you have confidence, not arrogance, right? Because a lot of people, a lot of people, very arrogant about their abilities. When you don't have the arrogance, because nobody takes an arrogant person seriously. When you have confidence, that's when people take you seriously. You would be very surprised at who takes you seriously when you're acting from a place of confidence. Yeah, okay, let's see. So there again, there is some sort of inspiration that is coming through as a sign. I'm seeing this dove placing the wafer inside of the cup. There's a joining of our spiritual energy, right? So the information down into our psychic, emotional, subconscious spaces. And this is something that is a gift to us. It's like an ability that we've been handed or that we've been given. It almost feels like it feels like it has a lot to do with someone's astrology, honestly. So if you're also wondering if this message is for you, I would check your astrology. Astrologically, there's something going on inside of somebody's chart that has this signature inside of it. So that might be a good thing for someone to do if they're still kind of questioning this, because that's what this card is saying to me. There's also this transformation of the energy that's being placed inside of the cup, meaning for some of you, one of the signs is that the kind of information that you're receiving or the place that you're receiving the information from has changed. Someone here has left a religion, and that's why they feel that that information has changed. There's something like that taking place here. There's a change of the current for someone, and there's some sort of illumination that's taking place here inside of this sign. So whatever the sign is trying to lead somebody to, it seems to be a path that is going to illuminate either certain things. So for example, teaching divination to you, helping you to grasp a deeper level of where your intuition is arising from, things like that. There seems to be something that's going to be discovered if you actually follow this step. Again, it goes back to that idea of what you're gaining along this step isn't the end goal, it's knowledge and a solid foundation for something in the future. It's almost like one component of a solid foundation, because I just noticed those sunflowers as I was looking at this. This just seems to be one component of that solid foundation that's going to be needed as we evolve. And that's not to say before you bring it out, right? I'm a person that actually believes that we should be exercising our abilities and using them, because that's the best way to get better at them. And so whoever this message is for, maybe you already have a channel, but there seems to be some sort of sign that you have been given that there's something that you're supposed to do in order to cultivate your abilities or to bring it to a wider audience, for example. Then this is supposed to be confirmation of that sign. So let's see. One more card, please. Okay. With what I said earlier about somebody being very afraid of being rejected by their loved ones, sometimes our isolation and the ways that people reject us and they don't take us seriously and they show us who they are, in other words, right? They show us how much respect they actually feel for us. They show us the quality of love that they're giving us. Sometimes this does happen. I'm just going to say this. Sometimes this does happen, right? And we pull ourselves away and we end up in this energy, this isolation energy. The important thing to remember about that, even though we don't want to lose people in our lives, especially if we feel attached to them, is to understand that when we lose people or when we have to walk away from people because people essentially show us that they don't actually respect us or they don't actually support us in certain ways, that's really us freeing ourselves. We're freeing our energy for potentials in the future. And when we free ourselves for the potentials in the future, that's when the energy in our life and what we attract starts to change. That's not to advocate that anybody like cuts people off or anything, like, you know, do what you want. But what that's essentially saying is that somebody here is really holding themselves back because they're too worried about other people's opinions. Again, like I said, when you're standing in your own confidence and you know what you're doing, right? Other people can tell that you know what you're doing also, right? Like you start to gain a massive amount of respect in people who don't even believe in this stuff. And sometimes you have to accept that the people who keep like ragging on you or, you know, saying certain things to you, these are people that aren't supporting you. And so you need to find soul tribe that does, right? You have to have better friends, in other words. That's something that's very important for somebody here. And this is why when we have individuals in our life that do things like this, subconsciously, this is very damaging. Even if on a conscious level, you don't feel like it's damaging you, on a subconscious level, if you have an attachment to people that are kind of giving you this, you're not good enough, or there's something wrong with you energy, this is not necessarily something that's good for our inner children, right? This starts to affect our vibration and it it limits us from being able to exude the brightness that we could be exuding otherwise. There are times in our life at a certain point where it doesn't necessarily matter anymore, but I'm getting very specifically that somebody's holding themselves back because it does still matter. And so if this is the case, why would you live your life for other people? And it's not even living your life for their benefit. It would be living your life to suppress yourself so that other people don't judge you. That's not a life well lived. So spend some time considering that, because you have something that's very beautiful that's taking place inside of your energy signature. And this seems to be something that you are actually passionate about and you do want to do. There's no reason to hold yourself back from small-minded people, right? To live your life to accommodate their small-mindedness is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. So for whoever this message is for, do what it is that you feel like is authentically you. There's a sign that's been given to you. If you haven't received a sign, this isn't your message, right? My message is a confirmation. This message is to confirm somebody's sign. You've received a sign, and this sign is trying to point you in a direction where you could gain a massive amount of knowledge and life experience towards this sort of path that you're walking. Again, release your expectation of how that knowledge and how that experience will happen, because sometimes it doesn't happen the way that we want it to, but it's required. It's required to have a solid foundation. And so you are being supported through this. In other words, you have guides that are trying to support you on this journey. They're not leading you necessarily, but they are supporting you. And so they're trying to give you inspirations to get you to this place that you, not necessarily that you envision, but the place that inspires that passion. So whoever this message is for, if this resonates for you, please hit the like button. Feel free to leave me a comment, and until next time.